Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Tyson Fury fights Francis Ngannou this weekend in Saudi Arabia. Right. I mean, is it a pro fight or an exhibition? I don't understand it. It's not been clarified. We were told it's a professional fight. It'll go on the records. It's 10 rounds. There's judges there. Then we're told it's an entertainment fight. This was on the Ridley Season own website. They were saying this is an entertainment boxing match. So is it a professional fight or not? I don't care. I've never been interested in the fight from the moment it was announced. I'm glad both fighters are getting paid, especially Francis. Fair play. But as far as a competitive boxing fight goes, it's not competitive in the slightest whatsoever. Right? So it doesn't interest me. Right, but what does interest me is it a exhibition or a professional fight? Because people are betting on this. It can't be an exhibition, and people are betting on fighters to get knocked out, and it's just a move around, and which means it just goes to the decision. So we need to know. I mean, journalists like Dan Raphael have been saying they're trying to get an answer to this all week. They've been asking, is it a professional fight or not? It's not on BoxRec, and he said it's just uncertainty about it. So we need to know: is it a professional fight or not? It's just ridiculous. But look, the spectacle is phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. I mean, they've really pushed the boat out of Saudi Arabia. And I've said, look, you can promote it as much as you want. You can get the fancy production videos and all the superstars. You can pay people to be people's cornermen and all this. But ultimately, it's a poor boxing fight. And it is. But it's impressive. It is, and I'm not going to hate on someone, on a country who's putting in the time to represent the sport and promote the sport, because there's people at the moment, people are pulling out of boxing. Mainstream broadcasters, Showtime, HBO, they've gone. So, I mean, I'm all for people promoting boxing. Now, yes, I was a bit against Saudi Arabia in the past, but at the end of the day, I've come to the conclusion that all sports are doing it, right? And they're obviously boxing fans. Right, they've made the Fury and Usyk fight. I've said it all along. Listen, I don't want to see Fury and Ngannou, but I'll put up with it on the premise that we get Fury and Usyk, and that has been signed. I'm going to take the word for it now, because, as I say, the people who were involved in this fight is the sports minister of Saudi Arabia. So he doesn't look like he bullshit, right? When he puts something together, it happens. So I believe that fight is going to happen. So I don't really have an issue with this fight now. I'll watch it. But as I say, as far as a competitive fight goes, what is it? I think as soon as the bell goes, Tyson Fury will just play with him and do whatever he wants. If he wants to take him out in the first or second round, I believe he could do. I think what Tyson will do is just take a few rounds, move around, jab, double jab, go to the body, through the odd right hand. Francis will just look very, very tired from the third and fourth round. The hands will be down. It will just look really, really uncompetitive. And I think Tyson is going to have to stop him, because if he doesn't stop him, there's going to be a backlash, because people are betting on the outcome of this. I think it will look that uncompetitive that Tyson will have to stop him eventually. And as soon as Tyson wants to stop him, he will stop him. Now, people can say Ngannou brings this unpredictability, but not really. He's a decent striker in MMA. He's a good striker in MMA. He's got ridiculous power. If he hits you on the chin, he'll knock you out. But there's a difference between hitting someone on the chin with MMA gloves and boxing gloves. You have to get your feet in position and set yourself and land that on a big monster like Tyson Fury. It's just not going to happen, right? But he's not going to land. As I say, he's not going to land. He's just not going to land the punch on Tyson Fury. So he doesn't bring this unpredictability. It's not like he's throwing punches from different angles. He throws the shots quite traditional, It'll just look slower with boxing gloves on. It won't be as fast, and Tyson Fury will see it coming a mile away, So I don't buy this unpredictability stuff. It's not like how when Conor McGregor was fighting Floyd, and yes, we all got sucked into that, and Conor was bouncing on the toes, different angles, switch hitting and all that, and yes, it didn't work against the best boxer in the world, but you could buy into that. I don't buy into this. There's no unpredictability from Francis. He's just going to look like a slower version of Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? And we saw how Tyson dealt with him. So it'll just be very uncompetitive, and I expect Fury to box his head off. I think it'll be a bit boring, and I think when he wants to finish it, he will finish it. Right, I want to talk about TalkSport being banned from the event, and I think that's an absolute disgrace, to be quite honest with you. The last thing we need is mainstream media outlets being banned from boxing events. We need more eyes on the sport, not less. As I said, Showtime and HBO have left the building. They're mainstream broadcasters, right? And for me, I listen to TalkSport when I can. I actually like them. I like the football content. I like the boxing content. Now, yes, Simon Jordan, am I going to listen to him tactically break down a fight? No. Right? Do I agree with everything he says? No. Do I listen to him when I've got time? Yes, I like the way he articulates himself and the way he puts his point across, and it's extremely important that mainstream broadcasters are talking about boxing. And every time I've listened to them, they've always been pro Tyson Fury. They've always backed Tyson Fury, and just because they've put a little bit of criticism when they were sick of the Usyk fight falling through the last time, right, and the AJ the time before that, they said, well, come on, why are you fighting Chisholm and Ngannou? You're taking the piss a bit. And Tyson's banned him. It's just utter nonsense. I mean, could you imagine in football if everyone from the press got banned from asking questions? Right, or in politics? Do you know what I mean? It's all that's wrong with boxing, that people can ban media outlets because they don't like what they're saying. It can't just be yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson, yes, Tyson. There has to be people questioning things, right? Now, granted, with me, I always said that he's not going to fight Usyk after Ngannou. Right? It's not the right preparation, right? And I got that wrong, and I hold my hands up, right? But I will still maintain to this day that he was ducking Usyk last year. It wasn't hard to see he wasn't going to fight last April. He was putting demand after demand, 30% and no rematch clauses, and he didn't fight in the end. Right? So I believe at that point he was ducking him. He's not scared of him. I made the point, and I've made this point a million times, Tyson Fury's not scared of anyone. Right? But I always said he's only going to fight Usyk if the Saudis pay him. The money only exists in the Middle East that he wants. He said before he wants 500 million at one time, So, and a few days before, he was saying the fight isn't going to happen when it was announced. Do you know what I mean? So we're right to question him. I know his manager came out and said it took 5 minutes to make and all this. And okay, right. Well, 2 days before, Tyson was saying you don't want to give him the payday and doesn't bring anything to the table, right? So you can't have it all your own way. If you're going to contradict yourself time after time after time, it's the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. People are going to say, right, okay, we've had enough of this now. Just get the fight made. And in fairness to them, the fight has been made. He's got the money he wanted from the Saudis. Fair play. Right? I don't begrudge him of that. And I just want to see the Usyk fight. That's all I want to see now. That's all I'm interested in. Usyk's going to be there at ringside. Are they going to announce a date for the fight? They're saying December 23rd. Tyson saying December, that's the date, December 23rd. And if Usyk doesn't agree to it, then he's in breach of contract. But I don't believe anything Tyson says. I don't believe anything he says. And that's it. That's my judgment. I don't believe anything the guy says because he's contradicted himself that many times. It might be signed for February. Who knows? As I said, before it was announced, he was saying 3 days before, it's not going to happen. So I don't believe anything Tyson says. He plays the game. He tells us what he wants us to hear. So I don't know. Usyk's come out and said he needs a 14-week camp. I think that's mind games. I think he's calling for Fury's bluff and saying, okay, I'm going to tell you I'm injured, right? Get the date, December. But on the flip side, if this didn't happen in December because Usyk said he needs a longer camp and it fell out of bed, I would blame Usyk. I'd say that's out of order. Fucking hell, if you've signed something, you get millions of pounds. You fight on that date. How long's left? We've got, literally 8 weeks? So it's enough time, right? And I'm sure he could have been preparing before it. So I don't think it will get announced, the actual date on Sunday, because you don't know. There might be injuries. Who knows? Tyson might slip on a bit of water in the ring. He might get a cut. Who knows? So I just think a lot of that, the announcement was to bring more eyes to this fight. I think they were getting a big backlash and people wasn't buying into it. Okay, there's been a bit more hype this week because the event, you've got Ronaldo involved doing advertisements and apparently Eminem's going to be there and they're flying out all world-class ex-boxers. Mayweather might be there, Duran, Calzaghe, they're pushing the belt out, the Saudis, right? So there's a bit of glitz and glamour to it. And it's a fantastic undercard, I'm not going to lie. It's a good undercard, it's a good night of boxing. The main event, it is what it is, But as I say, I'll watch it. But I just want to see what's going to happen with the Usyk fight. We were told that there's been murmurings that it is going to get announced, on this, after the Ngannou fight, but I don't know. I don't know. Do I think it's going to happen on December 23rd? I don't believe it will. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe it will. I just don't know. I just think, I don't know if that's to get into Matchroom's head, because they said they're going to put Conor Ben and Eubank on at that time, or AJ might fight at that time. I don't know. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's set in stone. Maybe it is going to be. I just don't know. We just need to see. But that's all I'm interested in. Right? And as I say, in regards to this fight, my prediction for it is Tyson Fury will do whatever he wants to do with Francis Ngannou, and I believe he'll stop him at some point. And if he doesn't stop him, there'll be a big backlash, because it'll be very evident very early on in the fight the levels involved in boxing. People thinking, Francis can land the punch, he can knock him out. You'll soon realise that's not going to happen, right? Because Francis fighting against MMA fighters is a different ball game in that boxing ring with gloves on, right? It's a different ball game, and it'll become very evident early on that it's a complete uncompetitive mismatch, and Ngannou will gas as the fight goes on. But it's a great spectacle, and I'm looking forward to it to an extent. I'm going to talk about the undercard tomorrow, the Adelaide and Wardley fight. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. That is a fantastic fight. But all eyes will be when that final bell goes ding ding. If the Usyk fight, the date is going to be announced. That's what we're all looking forward to on Saturday. Right, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you think Francis Ngannou can win this fight? Is it a pro fight or an exhibition? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.